Hi, Assalamualaikum and Salam Sejahtera. Today, me and my friend going to present about our project for DPL453 Export-Import Documentation and Procedures, Commerce Department for Chapter 6. Okay. My name is Muhammad Fazli bin Kamaluddin with matrix number 07DLS 19F2055. First, this is the company or import company in Malaysia. We chose Tanchong Motor Holdings Berhad, okay. Also known as the TCMH Group or simply Tanchong Motor, is a Malaysia multi-based multinational corporation that is active in automobile assembly, manufacturing, distribution, and sales, but is best known as a franchise holder of Nissan brand and many others in Malaysia. They are also the one who responsible and manage the import of Nissan product in Malaysia. Tanchong Motor Holdings Berhad was incorporated in Malaysia on 14 October 1972. From its humble beginning as the distributor of small vehicle by its founder back in 1950s. Tanchong Motor Group has grown into a large conglomerate involved in a myriad of business activities, from the assembly and marketing of motor vehicles and auto parts manufacturing to property investment as well as trading in various heavy machineries, industrial equipment, and consumer products both locally and abroad. Okay, next is the product and service of Tanchong Motor. First one, assembly and manufacturing. Tanchong Motor has produced and assembled over 1 million vehicles of various makes, which include passenger and commercial vehicles of Nissan, Renault, Subaru, Mitsubishi, UD trucks, Photon, and Bison trucks. Okay, second one, automotive. Pioneer in the Malaysian commercial automotive industry, carrying a vast product range that covers all trucking segments in Malaysia, from haulage and logistics to construction. Third one, sales and distribution. Upon the franchise holder of Nissan or Datsun vehicles in Malaysia, become the best-selling brand in the country in 1970. Official distributor of Renault vehicle in Malaysia since 2003, includes the assembly, distribution, subscription, and after-sales support for Renault service in Malaysia. They are also the sole distributor for UD truck in Malaysia. Since the first introduction of UD trucks, formerly known for Nissan Diesel in 1978, Tanchong Motor has made UD truck one of the leading makes in Malaysia, with more than 48,000 UD truck vehicles on Malaysian roads to date. Okay, this is the export company in Malaysia. We chose Produa, or its full name is Perusahaan Otomobil Kedua Sendirian Berhad. Produa Drive is named from its official company name. It is a Perusahaan Otomobil Kedua Sendirian Berhad. A private limited company, Produa was established in 1993 with the aim of bringing complete mobility to Malaysians through practical and high-value products and services that are delivered with the greatest of care. Okay. For the product and service of Produa, there are many products from Produa, such as Alza, Beza, Myvi, Arus, Ativa, and many others. Okay. For the service that Produa provides, nationwide network, a total of 385 showrooms and service centers, body repair and paint facility, attract discount on parts, trade-in facilities, free 1-year Produa, auto assist complimentary, 24-hour breakdown and road emergency service. Okay, before we begin to export and import procedures, okay, this is how the registration procedures for export and import in Malaysia. Okay, trader must first register with the Malaysian Company Commission in order to export or import item that requires a license. After registration, a corporation must apply to the Ministry of International Trade and Industry for an import license (MITI). The Malaysian government Ministry of International Trade and Industry (MITI) is in charge of international trade, industry, investment, productivity, small and medium enterprise, development finance, higher industry, automotive, steel, and strategic trade. Malaysia employs DagangNet, a privatized single digital window for all import and export laws. In most of countries, a one-time registration procedure is done if you need to export or import product or service. If an export license is required in the exporting country, it can be obtained from relevant government department for Malaysia is Royal Malaysian Custom Department.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Amin bin Haki. First of all, I will explain the steps for custom export process. Step number 1, custom declaration. All exports of goods must be pledged by three things. Number 1, appointed customs agent. Number 2, self-declaration, AO program, AO portal. 3, direct user. Step number 2, classification of goods. The exporter need to get confirmation about the goods to be exported, whether it is subject to any duty, says by obtaining a code the correct tariff for the goods in question. Step number 3, check whether the goods are goods control or export prohibited goods. Number 1, check whether the goods to be exported are controlled goods or subject to export bans or restriction by the authorities. Number 2, check whether the goods require an export permit, approval from other government agency, (OGAS), or permit issuing agency, (PIAS). Permit approval must be obtained before any export is done. Step number 4, declaration and preparation of document for release custom. Every exporter must make a full and thorough declaration of goods exported, personally or by its agent, period to export done. Number 1, the declaration of export is to use custom form number 2, K2, electronic. Number 2, submit an export permit when making a customs declaration, either electronically or hard copy. The exporter or his agent shall submit the document as requested by a custom official entitled for the purpose of assessing any declaration made by the exporter. The list of supporting documents is as follows. Number 1, invoice. Number 2, packing list. Number 3, manifestation. Number 4, other relevant document. Step number 5, inspection of goods. The authority JKDM reserve the right to inspect consignment to ensure the such export comply with laws and regulation. Any official the right custom may conduct a physical inspection on any goods when needed. Step number 6, payment of duties. Cess duties or cess payable on export cess payable on exported goods shall be paid by exporter before exporting the goods. Payment of duty cess can be made over the counter or via online payment. Step number 7, custom approval. Goods to be exported can be approved for release out of Malaysia with condition of duty, cess have been paid any permit, if applicable, has been obtained. Step number 8, Customs, re- Customs release. Custom clearance may be allowed after all action have been prescribed by JKDM has been complied with and fulfilled. Step number 9. Save the document. Export records must be kept in Malaysia for a period of 7 years, except as approved by the Director General, subject to any condition imposed by it. Next, I will explain the import custom process. Step number 1. Customs declaration. All imports of goods into Malaysia must be declared by appointed custom agent, self-declaration, and direct user. Step number 2. Classification of goods. Importers need to obtain confirmation on the goods to be imported into Malaysia whether it is subject to any duty tax by obtaining the correct tariff code for the goods in question. The tariff code can be checked by referring to number 1. HS Explorer. Number 2. Seek advice from the Technical Service Division, Classification Branch, Tariff and Drafting, JKDM. Number 3. Check with the Custom Duty Order 2017. Number 4. Check with the relevant Free Trade Agreement, FTA. That's all from me. The other step will be presented by the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Justin. Today I want to present the next slide, slide 11. It is import custom process. Step 3. Check whether the item are controlled goods or import prohibited goods. Number 1. Determine if the product to be imported are the regulated goods or are subject to government import prohibition or limitation. Number 2. Determine if the product require an import permit or approval from the other government agency, OGA, or the permit issue agency, PIA. Before any importation, a permit or permission must be acquired. Step 4. Declaration and preparation of document for custom release. Number 1. Import declaration must be made in electronically using custom form number 1. Number 2. When filling a custom declaration, either electronically or on paper, provide an import permit. The importer on his agent must provide the documentation requested by a custom officer who has authority to access and declaration made by the importer. The following is a list supporting document. Number 1. Bill of lading or airway bill. Number 2. Invoice. Number 3. Packing list. Number 4. Country of origin certificate if applicable. 12. Other relevant document. For the next slide is step 5. Step 5. Inspection of goods. The authority, JKDM, maintain the right of the inspect consignment to guarantee that rules and regulations are followed when necessary, and custom officer with authority can perform physical inspection on any times. Step 6. Payment of duty and tax. Duty and tax on imported product must be paid by the importer at the time the item arrives. Payment of duty and taxes can be performed in person or online. For step 7, custom approval. If the duty and tax has been paid and a permit, if required, has been secured, goods to be imported might be cleared or released. For next slide, slide 13, step 8. Step 8, customs release. After all acts required by the parties, JKDM have been complied with and performed, custom clearance may be granted. Step 9, save the document. Except as allowed by the Director General and subject to any limits imposed by him. Important importation record must be preserved in Malaysia for a period of 7 years. For next slide, slide 14. Here, the export-import cargo movement in Malaysia. Number 1, export flow for full container load. Number 1, the process flow. Importer issue purchase order to export and LC advice is issued by the banks. Importer prepare commercial invoice, packing list and shipping instruction. Number 2, submit freight equation and finalize freight change with shipper. Number 3, PIA approve export permit. Number 4, export books container with shipping agent through a forward agent. B, prepaid K2 form. C, apply for export permit from PIA. Number 5, for process flow. A shipping agent sends container movement order CMO to forward agent. B, booking pre-advice and port operator to depot operator. C, release the container depot location, type of size, type and volume to forward agent and shipper. 6, forwarding agent prepares a request for deliver RFD and submit it to hauler or transport company together with CMO. 7, hauler pick up empty container and deliver it to export premises. B, depot update container number to booking in port system and shipping agent. Number 8, export staff and the container seal and inform hauler to pick up the hauler container. Number 9, hauler pick up staff container and deliver to part hauler prepare container dispatch advice CDA form. Number 10, update serial number to port system. Number 11, port operator receive shipment and consignment detail as export pre-advice through online or EDI. Number 12, port operation service of container detail and accepts container at the gate. The container is tagged in the container yard based on declared export vessel. For the next slide, import and cargo movement in Malaysia. This is the import flow for full container load. The process flow, first one, importer prepares necessary document including COO document from FTA country, collecting shipping document from banks, apply import permit from PIA and applicable. Number 2, PIA approve import permit, electronic which 15 are paperless with 3 or on board. 3. Import instruct forwarding agent to clear cargo together with the supporting document such as bill of lading, permit, invoice, and packing list. Number 4. Forwarding agent submit K1 electronically through SMKDNT interface. Number 5. Forwarding agent obtain deliver order DO including from shipping agent. The shipping agent send manifest to port operator and custom with 24 hours of arrival and vessel in accordance with Section 5 to 52 Custom Act. In practice, they are allowed to submit much earlier. Shipping agent must submit discharge list of port operation 6 hours prior to vessel arrive. 7. Custom computer system automatically process register K1 and send response back to the forwarding agent with the register number. 6. Number 8. Risk assessment on K1 done by custom verification initiative CVI unit at custom headquarters to identify high risk consignment. That's all from me. Move to the next presentation.
Hello, my name is Mukris and I will explain reason import-export procedure need. The import procedure begins with a trade investigation in which several countries and companies export the required product. Therefore, the importing company needs to get all the information from trade directories, trade association, and so on. After obtaining the necessary information, as an importing company, it needs to communicate with the exporting company to find out the rates and condition of delivery to be set. Meanwhile, as an exporting company that complies with all laws, prohibition, and procedures set by the customs, it is very important to make export goods legally anchored abroad, also to avoid the occurrence of unwanted problem. Procedures set by the custom are essential to prevent disruption in the supply chain that could cause international trade to be disrupted or stopped. This organized crime operation involve illegal activities such as evading duties or tax imposed by custom, crossing the border without permission, smuggling drugs on fire or firearm into Malaysia, dangerous good and prohibition, money laundering, trade in counterfeit good, and also human trafficking. Next, I will explain the procedure of export. Firstly is making an export offer. Exporter will provide a pricing proposal of their product. Product specs, commission, term of payment, insurance, transportation, and delivery specific are all factors that exporter must consider in their export offering. Export offers are made to other countries with good potential as well as other external variables such as countries with a solid reputation in international trade, political stability, cultural needs, and so on. Secondly is accepting an offer, export offer. Once the offer is received from other countries, the exporter must accept the export order. Exporter require precise information about their production and must notify customers if they are unable to satisfy the importer's requirement in order to avoid misunderstanding and failure to meet the demand. Exporter must examine the buying and purchasing term because they are part of the selling contract between the importer and the exporter. Third is initiating production. After both parties have agreed on all factors, including order and contract term, the exporter will begin production. The production must adhere to the important specifications which are detailed in the selling contract. And to avoid any delays, the exporter must check periodically to guarantee that the production can go as planned. Fourth is purchasing insurance. After the production is finished, the exporter should obtain insurance to safeguard himself. It will then be transported to a warehouse for storage. The exporter will get insurance to cover the item during transportation from the warehouse to other location, including port of loading, port destination, and place of destination. Moreover, is dealing with bank. All international trade will be handled by the exporter, who will seek guidance from a bank on foreign exchange and loan. Advising bank is exporter banker to advise a beneficiary that a letter of credit opened by an issuing bank for an applicant is available. Issuing bank is importer banker establish a letter credit in favor of beneficiary, forward it to an advising bank for delivery to the beneficiary, and entrust itself to honor the amount of draft drawn by the beneficiary against the amount specified in the LC. Next is completing form. Before the beginning international trading, the exporter must first comprehend and ensure that all export procedures are followed, to guarantee that all government and custom forms are filled out completely. All forms must be present to the appropriate parties to secure custom clearance at the loading port. All forms must be present to the other documents such as bill and lading and insurance policy should be submitted as proof of delivery. Okay, next I will explain about the procedure of import. Firstly is receiving document. Buyer or importer receiving shipping advice from overseas exporter or seller. Buyer or importer receives shipping documents including bill of lading and commercial invoice from overseas exporter or seller. In the case where a letter of credit is involved in the transaction, bank shall inform the buyer or importer when the set of documents have arrived from the bank where the overseas exporter or seller has earlier nominated the payment of the goods against the letter credit issued by the buyer or importer. Next is dealing with the shipping liner or port operator. Carrier or shipping agent issues arrival notice of vessel wherein shipping charge payable are stated. To prepare for the arrival of vessel, the carrier or shipping agent submits a status list, like a document outlining the containers to be discharged to the port terminal for the operation planning. Next is applying permit. Carrier or shipping agent submits the cargo manifest to the custom to match against the import declaration. Buyer or importer issues forwarding instruction to his appointed forwarding agent together with all the relevant shipping documents. Buyer or importer also inform the manufacturing plant or logistic warehouse on the estimate arrival of the goods. Next step is completing the custom form. All the forms submitted to the related parties in order to receive custom clearance at load port. To submit other documents such bill of lading and marine insurance as an evidence of delivery and ownership of the goods. And with the ADI in the place, this documentation process will make easy to the exporter or importer. The export process will be fast and also reduce time to cost in filling the required export form to the custom government agencies involved. Next step is completing forms. Import documents and delivery entry documents filled by the consignee is firstly is the bill of lading, custom form, packing list, commercial invoice, and last is import permit.
Next point, document that need in import and export. Custom packing list. The custom packing list is a stat list of the item included in the shipment that can be matched with pro forma invoice by any party involved in the transaction. The individual custom packing lists are secured outside each individual container to minimize the risk of exporting incorrect cargo internationally. Country of origin certificate. Country of origin is a declaration issued by the exporter that certifies the good being shipped has been completely acquired, produced, manufactured, or processed in a particular country. Commercial invoice. A commercial invoice is a mandatory document for any export trade. The custom will ask for the commercial invoice as it contains information about the order, including details such as description, selling price, quantity, packaging costs, weight or volume of the good to determine custom import value at the destination port, freight insurance, terms of delivery and payment. Custom will match the information given order and decide whether to clear this for forwarding or not. Next slide. Document that need in import and export. Bill of lading. Bill of lading is a legal document issued by the carrier to the shipper. It represents an evidence to the contract for transport for goods and product. Bill lading also includes product information such as type, quantity and destination that the goods are being carried to. Bill of lading can also be a shipment receipt at the port of destination. It must be produced to the custom official for clearance by the exporter. This is a must-have document that should accompany the goods and must be duly signed by the authorized representative from the carrier, shipper and receiver. Bill of sale. Bill of sale is a declaration from the exporter made to the custom department in case the receiver is unsure of the nature of goods being shipped. The bill of sale permits the receiver of goods to inspect them before making payment towards applicable duties. Letter of credit. Letter of credit is shared by the importer's bank stating that the importer will honor payment to the exporter of the sum specified to complete the transaction. Next slide. Document that need in import and export. Bill of exchange. Bill of exchange is an alternative payment option where the importer is to clear payment for goods received from the exporter either on demand or at a fixed or determinable future. Export license. Business must have an export license to provide custom in order to export or toward any product. This only need to be produced when the shipper is exporting goods to an international destination for the very first time. Warehouse receipt. Generate once the exporter has cleared all relevant export duties and freight charges post custom clearance. This is needed only when an ICD is involved. Last slide. Health certificate. Health certificate is applicable only when there are food products that are of animal or non-animal origin involved in international trade. Bill of entry. Bill of entry is a legal document to be filled and duly signed by an importer or carrier. Import license. Import license is a permission granted by the government to undertake import activity for restricted goods. And the last, insurance certificate. An insurance certificate is a document required for import custom clearance. This certificate helps the authorities to verify the shipment in terms of whether the selling price contains the insurance or not. That's all. Thanks.